All right, here we go. Today we have Gene Borrello, former associate of the Bonanno crime family. We actually did your first interview back in February 2020. But at the time, I was doing a John A-Light interview, and he asked me to kind of sit in at the end. So I didn't really know your backstory.
Right.
So this is actually our first real sit-down interview.
Absolutely. You know, when I first sat down with you, I was fresh out of the hole.
Yeah.
I looked like a zombie. I looked crazy. I was home 3 weeks, and they're like, you know, Johnny's like, come on this show. I had no idea what even YouTube was. I just did 6 years. I don't know nothing about nothing. He's like, all right. I didn't realize I was sitting on a huge show like this, and then I would blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well for you.
It did. It
yeah, now you
did.
have your own show with John and
Yeah.
everything else like that. I'm happy, man. I love when, we get to feature people for the first time. They go on to have a career. And
Yeah, man. It blew me up for real.
that's what's up. All right, let's start in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Queens.
Born in Brooklyn, Canarsie, and then raised in Queens, yeah.
So your dad, he wasn't in the mob,
No.
but he was in the life of crime.
He was nuts. Yeah, my father was a street guy, armed robber, shooter. He was just a wild Brooklyn guy and did a lot of jail time. He actually did time because, I mean, it's a pretty crazy story. When he was younger, he went into a barber shop and a gay guy said he was good looking and went back in and he shot him. I mean, that's just the truth. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just being honest with you. That's what he did his time for. He didn't kill the guy, but he shot him because the gay guy said he was good looking and my dad wasn't feeling it. Came back like he felt like he embarrassed him and he shot him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Well, didn't he get into like some situation where he stole like $800,000?
Oh, that was another situation. Yeah, he robbed biker guys from Canada for $800,000. Yeah, that was later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what? He took the money, then kind of
took
fled?
off. Yeah, my father was a fucking nut. He decided to just rob these guys, and he was dealing with Cyril Perone too, which is a fucking Genovese legend. And he took off for $800,000 in a baseball bag. Yeah.
Okay. And then he just left the family after that?
Yeah, he just took off to Canada, and then he was on the run for a little while because they were going to kidnap me, but my cousin Anthony Ruggiano and them stepped in, and then this happened like 95, 96, and they squashed it. They were putting guns to my grandma in Canada and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was getting really crazy because, he stole all their money. I mean, so they were pretty mad, and that's what happened. But my mother's side was organized crime, and they kind of like saved me on that from them doing something to me.
Okay, because your grandfather was in the life as well.
Yeah, he was associate of my Uncle Andy. Right.
Okay, and then you have a cousin.
Johnny Boy.
Right.
He was a nut. My dad's, my Uncle Johnny's kid. He was with John Jr., and Charles Canigolo and him. He was doing a lot of work. He was with the Young Guns crew, Eddie Recca, Jerry Bruno, all them guys. They was killing people, robbing, doing everything, and bitch-ass John Jr. sent him to kill Vito Guzzo, supposedly. They went to go kill Vito Guzzo. My cousin shot him up. Vito survived. You left a hitman alive. And they pulled my cousin over, I want to say 2 months later, in a stolen district attorney van, and they shot him like 20-something times.
Okay, and your mom's uncle, he was a captain?
He was a legend, Fat Andy Ruggiano.
Aha.
He was mob royalty.
Yes.
Right, that's what I come from. So that's why, I was born into Gambino royalty, basically. That's my mother's godfather. So, and then I didn't go that route later on. I was supposed to be with the Gambinos. I ended up not going with the Gambinos over a situation. We'll get into it. But, yeah, it's always been known that I was Fat Andy's nephew, so,
Okay, and you're the oldest kid?
Yes.
Now, there was a situation where you saw your cousin killed in front of you?
No, not my cousin. No.
Did you see someone killed in front of you?
No.
No, okay. My notes are bad. Okay, never mind. Okay, so you're growing up in this kind of family.
Yeah.
And then by age 14, you ended up essentially dropping out of school?
Yeah, 14 years old, I was done with school. I was a horror show from young. My mother used to hide from the teachers, you know what I mean? They would come out, she would hide, they're looking for her. His son stabbed him with a pencil, hit him with a thing. I was just a horror show in school, man, I was getting kicked out of every school, so they were just ended up putting me in self-contained. And when they put me in self-contained, it's not like I was retarded to be in special ed, it was just that I was so bad. So they put you in those classes, and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? So...
Okay, why the violence? Did your dad or stepdad beat you?
No, it was just in my blood. I was a hothead from young, and I just didn't take no shit. And I didn't win all the fights. I would lose too. You know what I mean? But I was just a wild kid, and that's just the way I operated.
Okay, so right around 15 years old, you started getting locked up.
Yeah.
For assaults and stuff like that.
Yeah, assaults.
You had like 4 assaults?
Yep, with weapons. Yeah.
What kind of weapons?
Anything near me. Tools. We were beating up kids like football games. It just started getting bats, everything.
Okay, but this was just kid stuff essentially.
Yeah, bullshit.
Right. Because then by 17 years old, you moved out of your mother's house.
Yeah, I was kicked out, basically.
Kicked out.
I mean, you could say moved out, but yeah. Not kicked out. She would never kick me out, but I was just out of control, and, I just went on my own.
All right, so this is 2001.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Where are you living?
So in Lindenwood. I'm in I'm basically with my grandparents.
Okay, so you moved in with your grandparents.
Yeah, my grandpa was a criminal as well, so
okay.
It fit perfect.
All right, so right around 18, that's when you started associating with the mob?
Yeah, pretty much. Not saying I was with the mob, but I was around them all. I started selling drugs, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you start with?
A little stuff, I started off with pills and just, I sold for Hootie, Anthony Russo. That's who I sold drugs for. I started off for Hootie, and then I started getting, more and more and more, and then I ended up getting locked up with a kilo of cocaine.
All right, and this was 18 years old.
18, my grandfather.
All right, so you went from hand to hand to a kilo in 1 year?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not even like hand to hand. It's just like if people ask for it, I have access to it. So nobody ever asked for it. I had access to it. You know what I'm saying? So my grandfather was in the middle of doing a deal, and his friend Danny Marcha, who was working for the police, we didn't know, he was telling me, oh, this guy wants a kilo. I says, well, I'll get it for a good price. He's like, what are you getting it for? I said, I'll get it for a better price. And it was a sting operation.
Okay, how much were kilos going for back then?
I want to say 24,000, maybe 23,000 I was getting it for. We were charging the guy. We should have known it was no good because we were charging him like 10,000 over the price. Because a cop will take it for any fucking price. Right. We weren't even thinking. I'm like, yo, tell this guy 33,000, and the guy was just agreeing to it. You know what I mean? So we should have known right there that, it was something fishy. But he trusted the guy. The guy was from Jersey. So.
Okay, so you and your grandfather get caught for this brick of cocaine.
Right.
And your grandfather got arrested too?
Yeah, me and he were there together. He's the one that did the sale.
And how old was he at the time?
69.
69 years old, still moving coke.
Yeah.
Okay.
My grandfather was funny, yeah.
How many years did he get?
So basically, we were under the old Rockefeller law still, which was dangerous, but we had A1 felonies, no bail. So my grandpa felt so horrible that I was caught up in it. He was writing to the judge and saying, my grandson had nothing to do with it, I just brought him with me. They still didn't want to hear that shit. They were still trying to give me time. So I ended up doing like 20 months, but he ended up doing some years. 3 to 9 they gave him. Yeah.
3 to 9 at 69 years old.
Yeah, he came home, went back in, and died in prison. It was horrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for something else.
That's bad.
Yeah, he was cool. He was like my best friend, you know what I mean? He was an awesome guy.
So you get locked up in 2002.
2003.
3.
Yeah.
Well, that same year, 2003, the Bonanno boss, Joey Massino, gets arrested for RICO.
Right.
He gets denied bail.
Right.
So he's sitting in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Then that next year, 2004, Massino gets found guilty.
Right. And then he cooperates 6 minutes later.
Right. So he's facing the death penalty.
Right.
Right? I believe like the district attorney, that was like the last thing he did before he retired was to make sure that Massino got the death penalty, which was kind of interesting because this would be the first mafia boss to get executed since the Murder Inc. boss.
That's right.
Lepke Buchalter?
Yes.
He was actually a Jewish gangster.
Yeah, so my cousin Anthony's side is related to Happy Maione. That was part of that clique. He actually was executed as well, I believe.
Murder Inc.
Yeah, Murder Inc. He was part of that. My cousin Andy's side, his wife's side was related to Happy Maione, who was a hitter for them as well.
Got it. Yeah. Murder Inc. were absolute lunatics.
Yeah, hotline killing people on phones, yeah.
Okay, so like you mentioned, Massino gets found guilty, and then right afterwards, he starts to cooperate. This is a very big deal.
Well, he's wearing a wire. No one knows.
Well, no, but before he starts wearing a wire, he goes and says, I'm going to cooperate. Now, the big deal is this is the first major mafia boss to ever cooperate.
Well, the head of the five families on the commission, head of the commission. It's like the biggest, he's the biggest rat of all time. Absolutely.
Right. That's why they started calling him the Last Don.
Yeah, he's the biggest cooperator of all time. There's no one else that's bigger than that.
Right. And when he went to cooperate, at first they were like, well, we don't need you for anything. We already know, whatever. But then he's like, well, I got an interesting piece of information for you. There's a hit on the prosecutor.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
So he started wearing a wire with the acting boss.
Vinny Gorgeous.
Yes. Vincent Basciano?
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting situation.
Right.
Because I recently had a Dominic Sacali.
My buddy.
Yeah. And he kind of broke down this whole situation. The way he kind of described it was that Massino kind of engineered this whole thing before the trial. He essentially put the word out to kill the prosecutor, knowing that they would go along with it, and then he would almost get a get out of jail free card when he confirmed it.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Uh-huh.
So he wore a wire with Vincent, who kind of admitted to it in a certain type of way in the conversation.
Yeah, but it was more or less they were trying to get him on a couple of murders as well. You know, they put him on a couple of murders. The Randy murder, the one that Ace did. There was a few murders that they tried to get, he caught him on.
Right, because Vincent ended up getting life without parole.
Well, think about it. And, you know, you got to feel bad for Dominic. Why are you talking about... We had taught, as being an associate, working my way up, I was proposed to be a member. Even if the boss comes up to you and goes, good work on that murder, you look at him like he's fucking nuts. There's no statute of limitations. You don't know who's listening. You don't bring up murder. It's like something you did and it then don't exist no more.
Yeah.
Great. What the fuck you talking about? Oh, we killed this guy, that guy. It's like you're breaking all the fucking rules now. You're the hierarchy. Why are you bringing up murders? Who gives a fuck about it? Don't talk about them.
Yeah. I mean, especially in a jail cell.
In a jail cell.
Yeah.
In the federal cooperation where you could get a Rule 35 anytime you want. There's no such thing as cooperation being ended. So you could cooperate and keep cooperating. There's no such thing as it. You could have 100 years, hear something in jail, and then cooperate on it. And they'll give you a deal.
Well, yeah, Joe Massino cooperated.
Right.
He goes into witness protection eventually.
Right.
And then last year he died at age 80.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a fan of him, so, you know. And he lived in Howard Beach, Queens. That's where we're from. He killed a lot of people for no reason. You know, I don't condone stuff like that. You killing a guy because you don't like the way he killed someone? The fuck? You sent the guy to kill a dude. The guy comes to tell you he handled the piece of work and you don't like the way he killed him, so you kill him. Now you're just playing God. You know what I'm saying? You're doing like fucked up shit. You're killing people, taking their businesses. You're like a grime ball almost. You know what I mean? I don't like shit like that.
I mean, what was the effect in the mafia community when they find out that the boss of all bosses...
I was home for that. I just got home. We were the laughing stock of the fucking 5 boroughs. We literally got set back for like 10 years for that.
Right. And because of that, the Bonannos didn't really get an official boss until like 2011.
In 2011, you're correct. And I was out for that. And I'll tell you why, because they tried saying anybody that was straightened out under Joe Massino wasn't recognized, which he straightened out everybody, except Vinny Asaro, who I work for, was straightened out under Carmine Galente. So Vinny was his own league. And Vinny says, no one's fucking telling me I'm not recognized. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to say no one would sit with us. The Gambinos were shitting on us. No one would sit with us. So because of Joe. So a lot of my guys were saying, nobody's fucking telling us that. Like, we came under Carmine Galente. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a whole thing. And then finally, years went by. I went away for 3 to 6. I came home. And then I remember I got assigned to Vinny Asaro because Ronnie was in jail. So now I'm working directly for Vinny, who's a captain on the committee. And I remember him telling me we got our official boss because he turned it down. He didn't want it. They asked him like 3 times, Vinny. He goes, I don't want it. All of a sudden, he goes, Tommy DeFury. They give it to Tommy DeFury. A guy from Long Island. He wasn't really a tough guy. They just put him in, Mikey knows, just put him in place and made him the official boss. And he told Vinny, you have to be my consigliere. Like, you have to. Vinny's like, no. Leave me on the committee. He ended up being consigliere. He was doing both positions. So he was running the family with Tommy DeFury when that whole Latanza indictment happened, if you remember.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the Bonannos, you said, were known as the wild murder family.
They were. They killed everybody. Like the Colombos.
Why do you think that they really focus on the murders as opposed to the money?
I don't know. It's just Brooklyn guys. A lot of Bonannos were out of Brooklyn, Queens. There's something in the water with us. I don't know, bro.
Okay.
These fucking Brooklyn dudes are murderers. I don't know what it is. The Colombos are based out of Brooklyn. All they do is shoot each other and throw grenades at each other. They're just lunatics. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it happens, you know?
Your cousin's actually Anthony Ruggiano.
Yeah, it's my mother's first cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who was Anthony with?
Anthony was a Gambino. Anthony was with his father, Fat Andy Ruggiano. That's his dad.
Okay. And you were originally supposed to be a Gambino.
Yes.
What happened?
So what ends up happening is that I tell this story, but I'm going to give it to you again. So here we go. There was a kid named Phil Galena. Phil Galena was from Howard Beach, and his dad was a wise guy with the Gambinos. He was part of the pizza connection. His father got deported, so they had a lot of respect for his dad. So me and Chris Cagnata, who I ended up shooting years later, he was one of my best friends. And me and Chris were walking out of ragtime on Cross Bay, and we didn't like Phil Galena. He thought he was a tough guy. So Chris started with him. Now, if anyone wants to know, Chris Cagnata is the toughest, roughest, wildest kid you'll ever meet. We used to call him the perfect weapon. This kid will beat you up, kill you. He was just a beast, knocking out grown men at 16 years old. This kid was just different. Built like a pit bull. He's just that guy. He started with Phil Galena. We beat him up. We cracked a bottle over his head, right? We split his head open. 3 weeks later, We're in a nightclub. We're all at this place called Remy. We're all hanging out, and he walks in with 2 guys. So he walks in with 2 guys. I'm there with all my friends. We're not thinking anything of it. He's with 2 Albanians. We don't know that. What he's doing is he's IDing us. He put fucking 10,000 on me and Chris's head. We don't know this. We find out later on. So we're in the club laughing like, oh, this kid's a herb. He ain't gonna do nothing. We go out the club, and we go into my friend Joe DeGangi's car. It's me, Joe DeGangi, Chris Cagnata, Berger, Crocker, Billy Dublin, and me, and we're piled in because my other friend Frankie Rock, who passed away, he left. God rest his soul. I love Frankie Rock. And so we're all in an Audi A8. We're driving down to Jackie Robinson. All of a sudden, a CLK 2-door pulls up next to us and fires 8 shots into the car. Pop, 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 just lights the car up. These assholes just took the money and did the hit completely wrong. They just shot into a fucking car, and what they did was they shot my innocent friend through the throat and my other friend Billy Dublin in the back. Now this asshole missed the targets, me and Chris, who at the time were probably the 2 worst kids in the fucking area. So now you just pissed us off. We know it's you. The next day, he takes off to Italy when he realizes that he didn't hit the targets. So now I go to Al Trucchio, and I'm sure you heard his name on your show before, who I was supposed to be with that crew. Mikey Roccaforte, Al Trucchio, all the Gambino guys. That's who I was supposed to be with. I go to them. Mike Rock was all about it. Yeah, you do it. Al wasn't about violence. Al was a multimillionaire. He wasn't about violence. He was kind of yelling at me, which I respected Al. I'm not going to see him bullshit you. I looked up to him. And I'm like, yo, I'm killing this kid. They're like, no, we don't do that. His father's Ronnie One, by the way. His father was a fucking street legend now. Guy killed multiple people. He's took triple life. He's a gangster. So I'm like, I'm killing this kid. He just tried to kill us. He shot my innocent friend through the throat. I'm killing him. He's like, no, you're not doing that shit. So I'm furious now. I go to the other side because I was best friends with a kid named Bobby G. Alonzo. Bobby G. Alonzo was Vinny Asaro and Ronnie G. Alonzo's nephew. That was my best friend, my armed robbery partner. That's who I did all my work with. So I go to that side. I go to Ronnie and them, and I'm like, listen, look what this kid just did. Take my back. He's like, I got you. Do whatever you want. That's all I needed to hear. Gave me the green light. I put a stolen camper van in front of his house. I waited on this motherfucker every day. I couldn't get him. Finally, I says, you know what? I'm going to lure him back from Italy. I took a Tech 9. I put 20-something shots to his house. I came back 2 weeks later. I did it again. He still won. I came back in. I set all his cars on fire from his fucking mother down. The whole shit. I torched the whole shit. Because you know what? He did a gang member move. So now we're going to do it. You shot innocent people. I'm not going to stop now until I get you. Even at one time, we waited for his brother to go in a Ram truck. We took a half a stick of dynamite, a pineapple, and I threw it in the fucking pickup truck while he's in it. We were out for blood because you tried to kill us. You took it from a fight to a bottle to taking my life. So now I'm after you. The only thing that saved Phil Galina's life was the fact that Chris Cagnata, my best friend, decided to rob Ronnie G's main earner, which is a kid named Nicholas Festa Pudgy, for $300,000 to tie up him and his family in the house. So Phil Galina got a pass. That's the reason why we stopped hunting Phil and went to Chris. That's what ended up happening. But that's why I ended up with the Bonannos, because this fucking dude wouldn't take my back and give me permission to kill this dude after he tried to take my life on a highway and shot my best friend through the neck and my other friend in the back. So that's why I went to the other side. That's the truthfully why.
Right, and he left to Italy and never came back?
He came back later on. See, he knew we were beefing with Chris, so he knew he could come back now because we were at war with Chris, and it became the feds titled it Summer of '06. There was like 7 shootings in like 3 weeks. We were going nuts after this kid. So what ends up happening is that he knows that we're beefing with Chris now, and now he's like, coming back. So we're not focused on him no more.
Well, the guys that actually did the shooting were Albanian mafia guys?
We don't know. I ended up finding out from a kid named Duke. You could look up Duke. He's on the FBI's most wanted list. He's still on the run to this day. He's one of the most toughest Albanians around. He just committed a shooting in another country. He's all over the news. I beefed with this kid and we became friends. He told me, Gene, we didn't know it was you. We just took the money. We didn't know. We know anything about it. I just gave my guys the job. We didn't know it was you guys. So I knew right then and there for sure it was this prick. That put the money on our heads. And it was to kill us, not to shoot us, to kill us. So he's playing life games now. You know what I mean? So at 20 years old,
After this whole situation, now you're affiliated with the Bonannos.
On record, he put me on record. He introduced me to Jerry Asaro, Vinny's son. I had to meet him. He put me on record and says, he's with me, and that's it. You meet the skipper, and that's it.
Right. And you're essentially dealing with Ronnie G. Alonzo?
That was like my right-hand man, yeah. I still got respect for him at the end of the day.
Right.
I do. I still got... Listen, I did what I did, but he was a gangster. He was a real tough guy. I still got respect for him,
Okay, and he's a capo with the Bonannos.
Yeah.
But you're just, an associate at this point.
I'm on record. I'm trying to work my way to get straightened out. Yeah.
A knockaround guy, that's what they say?
Yeah, I was a wild guy.
Okay, there was a situation where you beat a guy that owed Ronnie money?
Yeah, till he shit himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome. Me and Ronnie beat him. Yeah. His name was Simone, and this was later on in life, but what ends up happening is that now you understand loan sharking, right? So Ronnie's the loan shark's loan shark. Ronnie had $3 million in the street. Ronnie was a money machine. So Ronnie would give you money at one point. So if you're in his crew, you get money at one point, you put it out at 2 or 3. So if you put 100,000 out with Ronnie, you got to give him 1,000 a week, and then you're probably collecting 2,000-3,000 on it. So you're making money on his money. So he had a little over 3 million. Simone, when Ronnie was serving 7 years for the extortion on his stockbroking firm, I was away too for 4 years for a shooting in front of a bar. So I'm away too. I come home in 2010. Ronnie's away still. So Simone is taking money, and we're getting word that he's taking it for himself. So years go by, whatever. Ronnie comes home, and then Simone's short in payments. Now, if you understand, he has 200,000 out. You should be collecting like $6,000 on that money, maybe more. How you shorting the 2,000? So he comes to Ronnie for another 20,000. Ronnie gives it to him. Me and Pudgy are like, bro, don't give him the money. He's fucked up. If you know Ronnie starts yelling at us, don't tell me to do with my money. I know him 20 years. I'm like, all right. Next week, Vlad, he shorts him again, bro. Now, I know Ronnie's fuming. It's in his face. We're at the bagel store. It's where he set up his little fake job, his operation in the bagel store. And so we don't say nothing. I hand him the money. I'm like, he's short 500. Ronnie's like, all right, you can see in his face he's not happy. Next week, he shorts him again. He goes, bring this motherfucker to me right now. I see in his face. I'm like, all right, we're going to hurt this guy right now. I go call him up. I'm like, Simone, I got to come see you. I go to the house. I'm like, when he gets in the car, I'm like, yo, look, you got to go meet Ronnie right now. Is there something wrong? Tell me now. I was like, because we're going in this here. You keep shorting him. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right. So I take him to the bagel store. I never forget it, like yesterday, because the grown man cries when they're beating him like that. They don't come out of your head. So we go into the bagel store, and then we're in the back, and Ronnie's like, come in the back. So he's like, what's the problem? Why are you shorting me my money? And Simone goes, what's the big deal? Oh, my God, that was the worst thing you could have said. And I had brass knuckles. I already knew we were going to pulverize this guy. So Ronnie just overhand slaps him. Now, anyone that's listened to this knows that Ronnie's like a little pit bull. Ronnie has a knockout punch. So Ronnie slaps him overhand, puts him down to the ground. We begin beating him right there in the back of the deli. So he's screaming, so we drag him into my car. I got an MX-5 at the time, a truck. We put him in the front seat. Now, Ronnie's behind him, beating him, and I'm in front of him, beating him. And I mean beating him. And you could hear him like the screams, you know what I'm saying? And then the shit, you know what I'm saying? You smelled it. He defecated. He thought we were going to kill him. Mm. Yeah, and he ended up shitting his pants. That's in federal paperwork. That's like real story, And Ronnie, I remember Ronnie screaming, going, where's my money? Just screaming on the top of his lungs. I'm like, Ronnie, where's my money? And just beating him. And I'm like, we're going to kill this guy. And then finally he stopped. And then Ronnie goes, don't leave his side. I want my fucking list. I'm like, all right, I got to take this grown man in front of his wife and kids into his house with Pudgy, okay? Beat up, shit in his pants, okay? Sit him down at a table, and I got to get a fucking list. And his wife's looking like, what the fuck is going on? I had to tell her, can you please just go in the other room? Like, you have to go in the other room. And she went in the other room. He wouldn't give me the list. I had to put a knife to his throat, basically grab his hair, put a knife to his throat, and go, give me the list. I'm not leaving out this fucking list. Long story short, I end up getting the list. He's upside down like 100-something thousand. We get the list. Ronnie's fuming. I remember Ronnie going, if you don't give my money, I'm going to kill him. I trusted him. Long story short, he fucking made the guy sell his home, bro. He made the guy, this is real. He made the guy sell his fucking home to get his money, man. That's how he was. He goes, you don't sell your home, give my money, I'm killing you. You're not beating me on my money, because you got to understand what the message that sends. If you just take a beating for $250,000, I'll let you beat me up for $250,000. You have every fucking guy lined up down the block to borrow money off you. You got to make an example out of someone. You got to kill someone over that kind of money. So you know you have to. So at the end of the day, Ronnie's like, I got to kill this guy if you don't pay me that money. Because everyone's going to know that he just got a beating for $250,000. I got millions in the street. Everyone's going to take a shot at me. So he ended up making him sell his home because Simone knew he was going to walk that plank for that. You know?
Okay, and the $250,000 was what, gambling?
He was just taking it for himself. He was borrowing money, making it like he's putting it out and putting it in his pocket and using it. You know what I mean? And he finally got caught up where he couldn't cover the juice no more. The juice was coming out to $2,500 a week. You got bills, you got stuff. That's $10,000 a month. You know what I mean? So now you got your own stuff, so he got jammed up, you know?
Now, there was a situation where you had to shoot your own friend. This was at age 20 again.
Yeah, 20 years old. That was my first shooting.
Your first shooting. Tell me about this.
So, Chris Cagnata, he robbed Pudgy. He tied up Pudgy and his family in the house. Chris was, like I said, a cowboy, wild guy, didn't give a fuck about nobody. And he had resentment towards Ronnie and Vinny and them because Vinny Asaro ordered the murder of his aunt, Donna Cavalcanti. I'm sure you heard about that before. She cracked the bottle over Vinny's daughter's head, and Vinny ordered Ronnie Gialonzo and Jerry, his son, to shoot her in the bar. They shot her up, whatever, in the 90s. So Chris always had resentment towards that, you know, that crew shot his aunt up. She survived, but... So Chris didn't give a fuck. He was wild. He ends up robbing Pudgy, ties him up. Fucking one of the guys slaps Pudgy's wife in the ass, bro. You know, and that's just too much. And now, you know, one thing to rob, you're bringing in these guys, they do some shit like that, and now it's like, you know, now you gotta, you know, something's gotta be done for real. So we end up finding out that it's him. And I remember Ronnie, you know, it sucks because it's the person that you trust that's always going to get you. You know what I'm saying? In that lifestyle. That's just the way it works, bro. You know, you talk to any gangster that comes on this show, it's going to be somebody that you trust that's going to shoot you at the end of the day when it has to be done. Because why? It's easy to get to you. You know, they trust you. So I remember Ronnie telling me, he's like, you know, you want to be with us, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, meet up with your friend and put a bullet in him, basically. I was like, no problem.
Okay. So you were going to shoot Chris.
Yeah.
And this was your actual friend?
Best friend.
Best friend?
Best friend. That was my right-hand man, Road Dog Nut. And he always told me, stay away from these guys, Gene. We don't need them.
Okay. What's going through your mind as you're gearing up for this?
You just want to be a part of that life. You'll do anything. You know what I'm saying? My grandpa told me, don't ever say no if you want to prosper in the mafia. No don't exist.
Huh.
No don't exist. N-O, you know, just yes. Unless it's a kid, which they would never order or like something like that. We don't even order stuff like that. But any order they give you, you can't say no.
Okay. And from what I understand, when it comes to mafia shootings, you don't get paid for them.
Hell no.
This is just do this and you're...
Yeah,
you
just
step
get
up.
You might get straightened out later on. You might. You
might.
You know, it's just the way it goes. You know what I mean?
Okay. So what happens in the actual shooting?
The fucking, you know, it was my first shooting, and I almost turned the shooting into a homicide because I put 4 shots at him. I wasn't supposed to do that. And I ended up getting hit by a car. His girlfriend cracked me with the car. Yeah.
So you shoot him in broad daylight.
Broad daylight in front of everybody. April 2006. Yeah.
And then his girlfriend hits you with the car.
Cracks me with the car. Yeah, puts me in the air.
He survives.
Yes.
Now, when you found out that he survived, are you now worried for your own life?
Yeah, I told Ronnie and them this kid's gonna come back like a fucking pit bull. And he did. He shot my house up 3 weeks later with a machine gun. With my whole family in it.
Anyone get hit?
No, thank God. I was watching TV, 2 in the morning, and my girlfriend at the time is laying on the bed. It's like, I'm just looking up and I just hear, they just start coming through at because he knows where I sleep. So I have an air conditioner in the wall on the 3rd floor, and the bed's right there. He's shooting right at the fucking air conditioner and the headboard, bro. He knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to smoke me while I was sleeping. He thought I was. He put 30 bullets into the house.
Okay, and you guys actually became friends afterwards again.
It was the sickest thing, I know. I know, we used to joke about the shit. I know, it's just Italians, I guess we're nuts, I don't know.
How much time went by before you guys...
A long time.
How many years?
Like 7.
Okay.
Yeah, because we both went to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys meet up in jail?
No, we both went to jail, and then we came home like 6 months apart, but Ronnie was sending word to leave it alone, don't do nothing to him no more, because we tried to kill him again in his car, and I shot his cousin. That was 2 months later after that shooting, because Bobby G froze up on the hit. Bobby's supposed to get the murder. Bobby G was supposed to kill him because he called up Ronnie and go, I'm going to kill your kids when they come out of school, bro. He's just out of his mind, the kid. And then Ronnie ordered his fucking murder. And then we tried to kill him in the back of Lindenwood. Bobby G froze up. Bobby had a 9mm Beretta. We had a stolen Grand Prix, me, Bobby, and Ricky Kessler. And his own uncle, Joey Cavalcanti, set him up. His own uncle set him up and knew we were going to kill him. So fucked up because his uncle was with the Lucchese's, and Vinny and Sarah said, if you don't tell us who your nephew is, I'm going to block you for the rest of your life. You'll never get straightened out as long as I'm alive. Never. And when Vinny blocks you, you're blocked for life until he takes it off. So Joey Cavalcanti literally fucking told us where he was hiding. So we sat on him for hours, and finally Chris was moving in the middle of the night in a black Ram 1500 truck. I was only the backup shooter, Vlad, I'll be real with you. I wasn't supposed to shoot. Bobby was the shooter. So fucking Bobby had a 9mm Beretta. You're dead. So We catch him coming out the house. He goes into the Ram 1500 truck, and I go, listen, he's definitely strapped. We're going to roll up. I'm going to pull right next to the car, dump the whole 16 into the car. He's gone. We pull up to the fucking car, time it perfect. He freezes up. We didn't know that he was going into the sanitation, and he didn't want to be a murderer. He failed to tell us that. So I pulled out a 38, and I fired 6 shots to the door. I don't get the target, and I shoot his fucking cousin.
Okay, but eventually 7 years later, how's that first conversation between you and Chris?
It was insane. Almost insane. It was like so awkward.
Huh.
We didn't even trust the situation. I had a 357 under my seat. He had a fucking 2-shot Dillinger on him. We're both on parole.
Huh.
We seen each other on Jamaica Avenue because we knew people in the neighborhood were nervous because there was so many bullets and shit flying. There was another shooting I did on Cross Bay Boulevard over it. Ronnie had me shoot into a car. I almost killed 3 innocent people and my friend's mother. The shit was getting out of control. I put 7 shots to a car on Cross Bay Boulevard on ongoing traffic. My friend's mother almost got shot. So it was just getting out of hand. It was just becoming mayhem. So when we came home, Ronnie said in word, don't do this no more. You know, it's too much. He's on probation. So me and him, I feel like could never not go after each other. But when they say stop, you got to stop. So I'm like, all right. But I'm carrying every day because I don't trust him, Vlad. I don't trust him. I know how he is. And he could beat me with the hands. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not fucking with him when it comes to fighting. He could beat up all 3 of us in the room at the same time. I seen him do it, bro. He's a fucking beast. So I know I got to pop this kid or stab him. He's going to get me. So I seen him on Jamaica Avenue. I got a 357 snub on me. I keep it under the seat. I'm on fucking parole, man. I got to carry. I'm nervous. And he's got a gun on him because he feels the same way. He knows I'm a shooter and I shoot on sight. I don't care where you are. You can be in front of a fucking church. I'm going to get you. So fucking we see each other. And then we lock eyes on Jamaica Avenue, and he literally goes, let me talk to you. I'm standing, I don't know what to do. I'm like, yo, shit's about to go down. I'm like, all right. So he hops in my fucking car. Literally just I had an E550 Benz this time. He hops in the car, and I'm just like, yo, what am I? I'm like, I'm fucked right now. I don't know. He's like, yo, I got something on me. I says, me too. He's like, yo, whatever we did to each other, it's over. It's just go our own way. I was like, yeah, same thing. And when he left the car, I was like, this is crazy right now. I can't believe this shit. Shot my house. If I shot him, I shot his cousin. It's just like, he knows I tried to kill him. You know what I mean? So, and that's it. It was over with. That's it. We were fine. Like, nothing ever happened. We actually went after somebody like a year later together. It was the craziest thing.
So you guys actually became cool.
Cool again, bro.
Like nothing happened.
We chased some kid down. He took us to the precinct. He was so scared. He seen me and Chris in the car. He probably fucking shit himself. We chased this kid down over some beef, and the kid literally drove to the precinct and pulled over in front of it and honking the horn. So yeah, we became cool again.
Well, there was a situation where you were ordered to blow up a cop car?
Yeah.
What was that over?
So Mike Padavone's daughter used to go to school with a girl. It was like some kid stuff. Mike Padavone's daughter was getting picked on by a kid in school, and they wouldn't stop, so he had me blow the car up, and it turned out to be a cop car. He was a DT. And I set it on fire. We didn't even know. It was a fucking DT guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
was a beef over kids.
All right. Did the cop find out that you guys did it?
When I cooperated.
Later on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're down with the Bonannos.
Yeah.
And at your height, you're making about $50,000 a week?
40. No, a month. I don't bullshit. I was making 40 grand a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Still
I wasn't no
money.
millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I make good money,
Well,
but I don't come on your
40,000
show.
a month.
You know,
that's about $500,000 a year.
Yeah, make up numbers, you know.
You're not,
40,000 a
you're
month.
not paying taxes.
Right, but if I'm making 40, I'm spending 80. You know what I mean? I was bad with money.
Gambling?
Everything. Women, money, you know, just living that fast life. I had a social club, 3 cars, side girl, you know, just, it goes, man.
Okay. What do you think most of the money went to?
Nightclubs. I would go out from Monday to Sunday. New York City, it's every day, bro.
Okay. And, I mean, you had other rackets as well.
I was a big arm robber.
Okay. And you would rob jewelry stores?
Jewelry stores, anything. We've hit everything. Drug dealers, jewelry stores. We tried to hit Brinks trucks, everything. We would just, I had a good robbery team. And I separated from my mafia team, and I used gang members a lot. Because I like the gang members because they got the balls. A lot of Italians are like pussies now, so I used to use all the gang members.
You once hit a jewelry store for $1 million.
Yeah, one of them we hit for $1 million in Manhattan. That was Manhattan.
Okay, how much jewelry is $1 million?
So it's not a lot because it was high-end jewelry. So
Yeah.
like we hit like some fancy boutique in the city, like a necklace was like $180. bracelets. It was like super expensive jewelry. And you know what we missed? Because I didn't know no better, Vlad. It was 2005. We missed the whole shelf of Patek Philippe's. I don't even like talking about this shit. We missed like 20 Patek Philippe's in the motherfucking thing. We didn't know what they were. I was a kid.
It's like $1 million right there.
Oh my God. And they lied in the paper. They said it was $2 million for insurance purposes, I guess. And it was really only $1 million in jewelry.
Well, right, because you did 150 robberies?
About armed robberies, total, burglaries, everything. I mean, they were uncountable. I used to sit with them in there, and it would just be like, it just keep going. It was so many.
Okay, so give me an example of a typical jewelry store robbery. Me and you decide to rob this jewelry store.
It's not like that. We get tips. A lot of my scores are planned, like, you'll come to me. Like, we had a guy, Teddy, who was setting up his own clients. So what he would do is he's like, I don't like this guy. He's a jeweler. I'll give you the whole ins and out of his store. The cameras don't work. The alarm's not working. He's in there by himself. And bring me the stuff, and I'll take it off you. And that's how we were hitting the jewelry stores in Long Island. I did that one in broad daylight on a summer day. We tied him up in broad daylight, took the whole store, walked out with the whole store, 6 laundry bags.
Okay, but robberies don't always go according to plan.
Of course not. The dog could come out, the neighbor. You got to do homework. I'm spending money to rob you. Remember that. I'm in high-end cars. I don't look like an armed robber. I walk into your store. I got a gold presidential on. I got $10,000 in my pocket. But I know I'm going to take $600,000 out of your store.
What was the worst situation that you got into doing a robbery?
I was robbing gangsters when I was young, too. That was a big problem. I was sticking up guys coming out of social clubs, and I got a little ahead of myself. And they gave us a score on a guy named Ali Shades, Genovese Capo. And he fought me, bro. And his wife almost shot me with a shotgun. Yeah, I had a briefcase with like $75,000 in it. He wouldn't give it to me. I was fucking smacking him with the gun and everything. He wouldn't give it to me. And then I guess he had a code. He honked the horn, and his wife, the double barrel I seen right at my face. I had to fire the gun to get out the yard because I thought she was going to fucking shoot me with it. You know what I mean? And I ran out the yard. I was 20 years old. You know what I mean? This is just stuff you were doing as a kid. The next morning, we're hearing the whole place is going crazy. Someone tried to rob Ali Shades or whatever was his guy. I don't know. They say it was him or his guy, but I know Ali Shades was the one that they got. It was his money. So they were going, it was like an uproar. He was like a captain in the Genovese family.
Well, you weren't even the most violent guy in your crew.
No, Bobby G was.
And he had a thing for knives.
Knives. Psychopath.
Okay. What would he do?
So one time we were in a nightclub and we were all fighting. We were like 18 years old, Vlad. And you know when you put your knees in someone's chest and you got them like that? We're thinking like he's slapping him. Like, why is Bobby slapping him? Got a fucking box cutter, bro. He's carving his fucking face up in his head, bro. That was like on some psycho shit. We're like, bro, we're fighting. This kid's like Hannibal Lecter over here, just hacking the kid's face head up. He mangled the whole guy's face and like deformed him almost. He was a psychopath. One time, we were in Far Rockaway, and honestly, this is like so random. Some kid tried to rob us, literally for Bobby's Jordans. But we left this kid for dead. Bobby carved him up. It looked like a fucking, like the Chainsaw Massacre guy. He was like a psychopath. You ever see when someone's eyes go black? His eyes would go black. He didn't even like know where he was. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a scary dude, man. He was my best friend, and he was a real vicious guy. He'll hit you in the face with like he was just on some vicious shit. You know what I mean? Not even shoot you. Like he'll hit you with a hatchet in your face. You know what I mean? He was just like a whack job. You know?
Well, during this time, you had the mob in the U.S., but you also had the Italian mob.
Right.
And at one point, the Italian mob started having problems because the American mafia bosses started cooperating.
Cooperating, right. But we don't like the Zips.
Really?
We don't like them. They come down and they dress like their little sippy cups and their little fucking, we don't like them. They're in their social clubs. They fucking, like, get these jerk-offs out of here. You know what I'm saying? They look like little fucking, we didn't get along with them. They're separate clubs. You got the Zip clubs, and then you got our social clubs. They're like the real Italian Zips. We don't operate like they do. They're different, you know what I mean? They dress like in 3-piece suits every day. That's not how we will, operating,
Well, yeah. I mean, you said that the Sicilian mafia operates more like cartels or terrorists.
They're savages out there, yeah. Yeah. They kill families and shit. They'll blow up a whole bridge to fucking kill someone prosecuting them.
What have you seen the Sicilian guys do?
Oh, I've never seen it. You just know the stories, you know what I'm saying? They operate, they're savages.
I mean, but do the American mob guys have to kick up to the Italians or no?
Absolutely not.
No.
Hell no.
Is it the same families or?
I mean, you could have them out there, but no, they have nothing to do with that. That's totally different. We don't give them no money.
Okay. So then there's a situation where you got into a shooting at a bar.
Yeah, that's why I went to jail for that.
Okay, that was over your dad?
Well, my father.
So explain what happens.
This guy named Johnny One Eye, he was a Gambino guy. My dad had just came back from Canada after all the bullshit, the stuff he did. So my dad's living with me again. And my dad's nuts. My dad went to a bar. He got into a fight with some guys. Johnny One Eye was a known nut job and hit my father in the head with the claw side of the hammer. My dad was left in a puddle of blood, dead almost. I got the phone call while the fight was happening. I found my father fucking dead, basically. I fucking went in front of the bar. I pulled out a 380. And I says, who that's my dad? And he says, get out of here, kid. And I just started lighting him. Bum, 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 bum. And then the cops were right there, caught me in the act. I ran from the cops. They chased me down for like 5 blocks and they got me.
Okay, so now you get arrested.
Yeah.
Now you had done the 18 months before.
Yeah.
Is this the second time you're getting arrested?
Yeah. So now I got to do 3 to 6 years they gave me.
Okay. Did you plead out or they...
Pled out.
Okay, what were you facing, worst case?
7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around the same, more or less.
Yeah. I ended up doing 4 years on it.
Okay, you go to Rikers.
Yeah.
What is Rikers like back then?
Fuck, man. I mean, I did adolescent Rikers. That was like movie bad, you know what I mean? And then when I went back again, it's chaos. There's, people think like it's exaggerated unless you go there. People are like, oh, it's not really that bad. It's that bad. You got to fight for a chair. You can't sit down. You can't get on the phone. It's slot time. You ain't touching the phone if you're not a gang member. You got to be hopefully that you can even eat your commissary. You eat standing up. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a crazy world. Nonstop violence. People getting cut all day, stabbed. The cops are scared of the inmates because they're from the same neighborhoods. It's all fucked up,
Okay, and what year is this around?
So I went in 03 into adolescence, and then I went back in 06.
Okay, so it's 2006, you're in Rikers. Now, are there a lot of white inmates in Rikers?
Hell no.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I figured.
Nothing.
Mostly
they're
black.
in PC, and they're all crackheads.
Right, it's mostly black and Hispanic.
Black and Spanish, yeah.
Okay. Is there a lot of mafia guys at all?
Hell no.
Okay, so you're a minority.
Yes.
I mean, is there at least like Aryan Brotherhood?
No,
or?
they cannot be in Rikers Island. Listen to me. They come in there with a SWAT sticker. They better not take that fucking shirt off.
Huh.
That thing's going to be cut off them.
Okay.
Absolutely. You cannot be no Aryan brother in no damn Rikers Island.
Okay, so how are you surviving when there's these racial lines?
So here's the thing. So I got jumped a few times. My teeth chipped. Like I said, I don't bullshit. I went through it, but I wasn't with it. And they're going to ask you if you're with it. That means they're going to take your PIN number. They're going to take your commissary. You're going to be a bitch. I'm like, I'm not having this go to the street. I'm like, you's got to kill me. So fucking... I end up fighting all the time, and then at the end of the day, the gang members also love Italian people. I don't know if you know that. Italians are loved by the gang members, so they kind of like loved me, and then when it kind of found out that I was kind of a mob guy, then it was even better. That's when they really were like, oh, fucking, they want to work for you, you know what I'm saying? They want to be down with you, you know what I mean? So that's how I kind of like got in with them, and then I got really cool with them, and I was always down to fight, you know what I mean? I was not with nothing, you know what I mean? You had to kill me. You weren't taking nothing from me.
Right, but you hear horror stories that happened. In terms of rapes, did you ever see any of that happening?
That's bullshit. Yeah, the guys that are doing that want to do that. Nobody's taking no ass in Rikers Island. You're gonna get fucking beat to death if they catch you doing that. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt.
I don't know about Rikers Island, but it definitely happens in other prisons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah and no. It's kind of like a jail myth, man. I know when I'm with certain people on the block or the tier, ain't nobody allowing that shit, man.
Well, I had Billy McFarland on my show last
A lot
week.
of these guys lie, though, man.
Well, Billy McFarland was the Fire Festival guy.
Right.
The whole thing with Ja Rule, with the big concert that never happened, and he ended up basically going to prison for fraud. And he was saying how at one point there was another white kid that came in around the same age as him, 25.
Right.
One of the older inmates was like, hey, give me $150 a week. I'll give you protection. You can move into my cell.
Right.
So the
that happens.
And, that cell was right next to, Billy's cell. They said that night you could hear him getting raped.
I mean, it can happen, I guess, but like if you're with some serious guys on the cell, like I was in 10 Lower in Rikers Island C95. If anybody ever tried that, he would look like a porcupine with all the knives in him. You know what I'm saying? He would have holes all over his body. They're not going for that. It's just like it depends on what house you're in. I was in a high-profile gang leader house. You're not doing that to anybody in there. Gangs ain't supposed to pick on people. They're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? They're not supposed to oppress. They're there to, the Bloods were formed because of the Latin Kings. It's not supposed to be where we pick on people. So when you're with the real gang members, they don't operate like that. You know what I mean? It depends on who you're with, I guess. But the rape thing, really, I've never seen it or heard of it in Rikers Island. But
there was a situation where Al Trucchio had you do a favor in Rikers?
Yeah. Oh, in Groveland, yeah.
Groveland. What happened?
Me and Frankie Pasco did it. You had Frankie on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is that this guy Sal Giolando pulled up, and we're there. So remember, we're young. I'm 24 years old. Frankie's 29 years old, I want to say. We're in Groveland Correctional Facility, and Sal pulls up, and he's like, oh, I'm from the neighborhood. He starts talking. I guess he thought we were like two jerk-offs, like we weren't really mob guys or whatever. So he's running his mouth about like my friends that I really know. He's talking about Todd LaBarca. Todd's doing time for a body right now. Jerry Bruno, who's like a legit fucking tough guy doing time for a murder. All these guys are real bad guys. Calling Al a blowjob, this one, that. I'm like, bro, he would not say this to these guys. He's lying. Like, I don't like what he's doing. I call up on him. And I get a word to him and like, yo, he's no good. They're like, no, he's no good. That's why he's doing it. I says, oh, don't worry, I got him. Thank you for saying that. I'm like, all right. Me and Frankie put our little plan together. I'm like, we're cutting this guy and we're beating him up. He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. So long story short, we get him on the walkway. We lure him out. I'm like, I'm cutting him. Frankie's like, no, I'm doing it. I was like, all right, Dad, you cut him. I blindside him, boom, crack him. Frankie cuts his face. He starts screaming, running. We start beating on him. And that's it. We got him out the jail. And Frankie went to the hole for a year. Frankie went to the hole for a year for that.
2010, you get out.
Yeah.
And now you're back with the Bonannos again.
Yeah.
Okay. And you started working with Ronnie G again.
Right away.
Well, Ronnie G was locked up at the time?
He was locked up on an extortion case.
Okay. But he had a deadbeat list that he gave you?
Yes, man. I didn't even get to breathe fresh air. I'm getting a list thrown at me. Yeah, he had a deadbeat list of hundreds of thousands of dollars that guys were acting up while he was away. And he was so happy I'm out because now he knows he's going to get his money, collect his money. So right away, I'm collecting money, run around.
Okay, and there's a car wash.
Oh, Brian
owner.
Fahey.
Yeah.
Brian Fahey, yeah. He owed $75,000, and Ronnie took it real personal with him because he was really good friends with Ronnie. Ronnie takes it more personal when you're like really close with him. So he's like, yo, go get my $75,000 from Brian. I'm like, all right. Vlad, I swear to God, I'm home like 3 weeks. I'm like, all right, I'm so jailed out. I got a box cutter on me. I don't even know. Like, I'm not carrying guns, nothing right now. So I'm like, I go in the place, and he just turns white as a ghost. He knows why I'm there. I'm like, what's up? He's like, what's up? I said, you know why I'm here? He's like, Gene, be careful. The feds are watching me. He did a half a rap movie. He was so scared. He knew I was there to like do something to him. I'm like, oh, that's how you're gonna handle this? I said, yo, make sure you pay the $75,000. He's like, yeah, I'm just letting you know the cops are here. He's trying to make it like, don't do nothing to me. The cops are here. Like they're watching. So he pulled a half rap move. I was like, all right. I went back. He goes, I'm gonna pay the money. So 3 months later, he never pays the money. Ronnie sends word. Sorry, he emails it. I love you, Ronnie. I did love you, but you don't email from the feds. Send the kid. They know I'm the kid. Somebody gets bullets put at them. 2 days later after you send the email. Like, come on. You're getting everybody indicted. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Send the kid.
Okay, and you end up shooting the guy.
Brian Fahey. Like, don't you say send the kid. How do you do that on a federal email? He's so crazy over his money. Not thinking. They used it in the courtroom. Emails from the feds. Send his brother-in-law. Send the kid. They know I'm the kid.
Okay, so you shot this guy, but he survives?
Yes.
Did he pay?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Ronnie's friends with him when he comes out. I'm like, bro, you make me the bad guy, and now you're sitting with him again.
Okay, so you're putting in all this work for Ronnie, but you're not actually made.
No. The next best thing now, everybody knows that I got every young kid with me. I got John got his grandson with me. I got a whole bunch of team of bad guys. I got gang members. I got everything. You know, I'm just waiting to get my chance. That's it. That's how it works. You could wait 10 years, bro. It's not like the Bloods where you go, oh, you're my friend, you're in. It don't work like that.
I mean, did you want to be made at this point?
Absolutely. I was dying for it. I earned it. I used to meet guys and they used to go, how the you straightened out yet? I'm like, bro, it's politics. It's the way it goes.
Okay, because then in 2013, Michael the Nose Muncuso?
Yeah.
He was named the official boss.
He was always been the official boss.
Oh, really?
He was been the official boss since 2010. He was just appointing people. Remember, he was doing time for murder, conspiracy, and he was appointing like acting bosses. They tried to make this guy Simone. Everyone's like, we're not jacking Simone's the boss. He's a clown. So they put Tommy DeFury. They accepted Tommy DeFury. Then they got locked up, and he put a guy named Joe Camarato. Joe Camarado's out of Staten Island, and he was a Navy SEAL, real tough guy. And his father was a captain too with the Bonannos, and they made him the official boss. That's what happened. Right.
So things are kind of switching around in the Bonanno.
Right, but we had no rats. We were doing good again. We were doing good again until they had everybody on me, my own cousin, everyone wearing wires. But until then, we had no cooperators for years.
Okay, so then 2014, your cousin wears a wire against you.
He had it on for like a year, yeah.
A year?
He had it on he buried me.
Right, because I guess he did a drug deal with his baby?
Scumbag, man. I tell this kid, listen, you're hanging out with the big boys, man. Anything you do, you gotta understand, they're watching you now because you're hanging out with people that are on walls. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't sell. I'm like, all right, he's selling 4 ounces each shot to an undercover, pulling the out of his baby's backpack with the kid in his arms. 21 sales. He's crucified. I had no clue about this. He's wearing a microphone. You know, he's gonna get 20 years probably for that. He never did a day in jail.
Okay, and you're just speaking freely with him as if...
I trusted him. I shot a guy in the car. I gave him the gun.
Huh. Okay, and you're already under investigation yourself.
For everything.
Like 3 conspiracies.
Everything. Everything. Yes, they know I'm doing all kinds of...
When you first got arrested, did you think it was...
I was blindsided. I was going to a wedding.
Okay.
I went to Frankie's house to sleep there. He hugged me goodbye. I walked out to fucking 100 cops.
Okay. How'd you feel when you're actually getting arrested?
I was confused because I did so much shit. I'm like, all right, what they got me for? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's something. And then I knew when they set the bail at $500,000, and they said in the courtroom that Frankie was cooperating. They basically said, like, you know, he got me. And then they locked me up again for a Florida armed robbery in a jewelry store. I did one in Florida. So they came with that, and they made sure I couldn't bail out because I was, Mikey Roccaforte's family was bailing me out. They were putting the house up for me. So fucking, they made sure I couldn't bail out. They got me a fugitive warrant from Florida. So they locked me to be remanded.
Right, so now you're locked up, no bail.
Yeah.
And they have a mountain of evidence against you.
All right, so funny story. The lawyer goes, oh, you want to see your evidence? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, let me roll it in. It was on a fucking thing. It was a wiretap box. It was like 15,000 pages. He's like, you're 2,200 of the pages. He's like, you're fucked.
Huh.
That's just basically what he told me. He's like, this is a federal case. You're just sitting here. You know what I mean?
Right, and at that point, you're so mad at your cousin that you try to kill his dog?
I tried to get his dog killed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love animals, but I know he loved his dog Massimo, and I was trying to have little Gotti and him shoot the dog because I knew his wife was walking it on Pickett Avenue by the grandfather's house while he was hiding, and Ronnie wouldn't let them kill the dog. I was mad.
I mean, how are you getting word out to do stuff like this?
Oh, visits.
Visits.
Of course, visits.
They're not recording this?
No, I mean, there's so many people. If you ever been on Rikers Island visit, you can't record it. How about that?
I see what you're saying.
There's 1,000 people on the visit floor.
Okay, so now you're facing heinous time.
Yeah, I got a state, Florida, and then a federal coming down on me, and I'm a predicate persistent.
Right, you're facing at least 37 years, but if you blow trial,
life.
50 to 100.
Yeah, it would be life. Yeah, if you blow trial on RICOs and crimes like that, and Florida, it's called PBL, punishable by life. So I had a conspiracy to robbery in the first. So that's natural life if you blow trial on those charges. Not you would get a cop out, but if you blow to robbery in the first in Florida, it holds natural life. It's called PBL.
I mean, were they offering you plea deals at this point?
Yeah, but my lawyer says you're an idiot if you take it because they're going to ping pong you.
Meaning what?
So they're going to recharge you in the feds for the same crimes in the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he goes, they're trying to fuck you royally. And what they're going to do is Florida's going to go consecutive and federal's going to go, you're going to get slaughtered. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so you sat in Rikers for 19 months.
19 months.
What happened after 19 months?
All right, so that's not why. What happened was Vinny Asaro was charged with Lufthansa heist, and he beat it. In November 2015, it was the biggest upset in the Eastern District history of a courtroom. It had more media attention than any mob case ever in the history of mafia, and he was found not guilty on all charges. He beat the infamous Lufthansa heist case, the murders, the Paul Katz murder, and he admitted to it on wiretaps. They actually found the body. You can't make this shit up. He actually said where the body was, and they found the bones, and he still beat it.
Right, it was what, $7 million or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed, Vinny was one of the guys that, Maury's Wigs. Maury, he was on Vinny's fencing property. He was on Vinny's fencing property.
Okay. And you ask Ronnie G for money for a federal attorney.
They want fucking big money for organized crime cases. They want hundreds of thousands.
Okay, but you were making hundreds of thousands.
Blowing it. That's shit, man.
I mean, you weren't thinking along the way, listen, I'm going to get arrested. I need to put aside my lawyer money.
I still wouldn't have enough to pay a federal attorney. They want, you get a guy like who my friend is now, Barry Levin. He wants $300,000 for a case. $350. $400 they want. I can name so many lawyers I'm friends with. They want $350 for because organized crime cases are super high profile. So they're going to bang you over the head.
Okay, so you're facing 100 years, you don't have a real lawyer, and your little brother gets charged with a gun case also.
Yes, because of my cousin, yeah.
Okay, because your cousin snitched on him as well.
Yeah.
So what leads up to you actually cooperating?
No, it was just spur of the moment. I mean, they came and Snucker came to see me, and I was furious about everything going on. And I was really, and I'm not using an excuse, but my little brother was really fucking with me because I sent him with my cousin to do something while I was in Florida. And he got fucking jammed up with a gun, which I was sick to my stomach over. I'm like, this kid's gonna get 7 years because of me. I'm like, I was sick over it. You know, I was really fucking with me. And when they came to see me, they snuck because it was a visit. And I'm like, I said, I looked at the white shirt. I said, first of all, why are you coming to see me about a visit? That's not how it goes. And I says, it's Tuesday, there's no visit. I looked at it, I go, the feds? She goes, yeah. I says, you know what? Let me just fucking go. Turned out to be Bonanno crime family special agent Adam and Rob. They're like famous agents. They were on the front paper. They walked out Vinny Asaro on the Latanza case. You remember, they have agents that are assigned to families. So they know everything. You can't bullshit them, you know what I'm saying? I sat with them. He goes, I'm just letting you know you are indicted by the government. You will be spending mostly the remaining of your life in prison. You know the situation you're in. We're not coming back again because I kept turning them down. When they kept on trying to come, like, we're not coming again. You are indicted. And that was it. I said, give me the fucking paper because I was furious. This guy wouldn't help me. My little brother, my mother's giving me commissary money, bro. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Omerta? You broke the code, motherfucker.
Okay, but you know what comes with cooperating.
Yeah, I do, but I was just an arrogant fuck. I went right back to my neighborhood afterward, bro.
Right, but, I mean, you're not a made man.
No.
But you grow up hating rats.
Yeah, of course.
And then you sign this paperwork knowing how everyone's going to look at you. I mean,
100%.
was there like a lot of like, I know it's for the moment, but you understand the big picture of as to what's happening.
Of course I do. Yeah.
Okay. But you were prepared to do it anyways.
Absolutely. I was so mad. I was more out of spite. Jail didn't faze me.
You signed the paperwork.
Right.
What happens next?
2 weeks later, they come pick me up. I meet Nicole Argentieri, who's now the Attorney General of the fucking Eastern District. And I pick up, and I meet Lindsey Gertis and Allison. I meet the Latanza Heist team, basically, that lost the trial. That's who I am sat with. I sat with her. I met Nicole Argentieri. I got along with them well. I sat with them. She goes, you know how this works? I said, no, I'm nervous. You know, I'm like all bugged out, you know, because I don't trust them. You know, I'm going to admit to all this crazy shit, and you're going to help me? I just admitted to 1,000 violent crimes. The judge, I'm like, you know, I was all nervous. I didn't know how it works, and then that was it. You have to tell them everything that you've done in your life.
So you get a proffer agreement.
Yep.
And you tell them everything.
Yeah.
But you don't have any murders or anything at that point.
No. Jail murder, I call it later on.
So who'd you have to cooperate against?
They wanted me for Vinny Asaro and Ronnie G. Alonzo.
Okay, Ronnie G, this is the guy who put you on.
Yeah.
You guys did crimes together.
Right.
And now you're cooperating against him.
Right. Who's the guy also left me for dead.
Do you guys actually see each other face to face in the court? So did you have to actually take the stand or you just write statements?
No, you don't write. The agents write. You don't. You just sit there.
But you're being recorded.
Nope. They don't record no more.
Really?
Yep.
But they write down the notes.
Yep. They have to write. They have books. They just write.
Okay. But you sign a paperwork saying, I'm cooperating. It's not like you can say I never said all this stuff.
Oh, of course. It's a contract.
Exactly.
I get coverage on all the shit I did.
Okay. Did you ever see Ronnie G after this?
No.
Did you ever hear about what he thinks about the situation?
Well, he can't be mad at me because I was the last guy to cooperate. It came out that Ricky Kessel's wearing a wire. Everybody's cooperating against him already. I was the last guy. I was the last guy. There was like 7 to 10 cooperators on the case. Putting them in while I'm in Rikers, they're out there wearing wires on them.
Ronnie G had the biggest forfeiture in Bonanno history.
Yes.
$2.4 million.
Paid back. What I'm saying, he paid it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had to sell his mansion?
No.
No?
No, they took the house.
They took the mansion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 14 years.
Yeah. I think a lot more guys cooperated because Simone got his $250 back. A lot of guys got their money back. That means you had to speak with the FBI. Because I'm giving them the people that we heard for this money, but how the fuck are they? That means they had to admit to it. Because if you're getting the money back, like the victims, that means you had to tell the FBI, yes, that happened to me. So you're basically a rat as well.
He ended up getting 14 years.
14 years. The judge went over the guidelines.
So he's still locked up.
Yeah.
Aha. When he gets out, are you worried?
He's the only guy that got balls that would see me and not kill me, but he would fist fight me.
You don't think he would kill you for giving him 14 years?
No, he's on his 2 RICO cases. I mean, this guy's got millions of dollars still. He don't want to go back to prison.
How old is he now?
He's 50, 1960. He's born 1970. I'm June 6th. He's June 9th, 1970. He's 54 years old.
Okay, a little bit older. Oh, but still, he's a dangerous guy.
Real tough guy. I'd never take that from him. I respect the guy. Should just did the right thing by me, and I'd be sitting in a jail cell with you.
So if he paid,
I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. Give me a fighting chance. I'm going to jail.
Okay, so you end up cooperating.
Right.
They give you a fake name.
Joey Russo.
Joey Russo.
I knocked out a guy's teeth in there. I almost caught a new one on that. Yes, a whole bunch of shit happened. Oh my God, man. It was just nightmare.
They move you to New Jersey.
Yes.
So where they move you, is it other cooperators as well? Or?
No. You go under a fake name in a regular county jail. I'm in there for a burglary.
No one recognized you or anything?
Nah, we're in the middle of nowhere, bro.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that the jail with all the child molesters and everything?
No. There's a unit for those. I'm in regular pop.
But at one point you were locked in with those guys.
That was Groveland.
Okay.
That was Groveland back in I didn't make it. I got kicked out of that jail. That was regular jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you said that this case made you like the Sammy the Bull of your generation?
Yeah. Yes.
Why would you say that?
It was the biggest mob case for our time.
Okay.
Yeah. 21 guys, millions of dollars, violence, everything. There's no such thing as it no more.
Okay. So
household names.
Yeah. So now you're in this New Jersey jail for 3 years?
No, 1 year.
1 year.
Then I go to Farrington.
Okay.
Because you got to do the lie detector test. You got to do all this shit to get into the WITSEC jail.
Right. And WITSEC is what?
The jail where all the big cooperators are.
Gotcha. So now you get moved into that jail.
Yeah.
So who are you in there with?
Man, for good people. The first guy I met, I said, I'm looking for Italian mob guys. They said, oh, Anthony Arellato's here. I said, all right, let me go see. I started talking with Anthony, who walked in the yard. And then, of course, I know a lot of West Side guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was friendly with Genovese guys, and me and him got along good. And then he went home, and then I ended up meeting Teddy DiBattoro. He blew up the Chicken Man Philly Testa, the nail bomb. That became my good friend. I was with my buddy Joey Caves, Joey Capitiello. He was a fucking nut. I had a good time with him. Hitman for the Colombo family. And then I was with the Flores twins, Margarita Flores, my good buddy. Was with him for like 3 years. I was with a whole bunch of big guys like that, you know?
I mean, how's everyone pretty much dealing with each other? I mean, because everyone pretty much cooperated. So no one could really point the finger at the other.
No, everyone. I mean, you might look at, I'm not saying like we're different kind, but like I would never wear a wire. Like I don't. The wire thing is crazy. I mean, a lot of the things that people were doing with situations, they were cooperating over 5 years. Like shit in there, some of the shit was just insane. Like you had to throw the whole book at me in my whole life and brothers and things, and I still was like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. A lot of them in that were just like nobodies. You know, there was somebodies and a lot of like just why are you here? You know?
Well, if they asked you to wear a wire,
no, hell no.
Okay. If they asked you to take the stand,
I mean,
you would have probably had to.
I know. It's tough, man. I don't know.
Right,
a lot of people can't do it.
Sammy the Bull took the stand in multiple trials over and over again.
I know, but it's just hard. I don't know. I kept telling him, I hope we ain't got to do this stand shit.
But when you sign the paperwork, doesn't that potentially come with it?
But I know. I was just still like leery about it. I didn't know if I could look at Vinny and them.
Okay, so in 2019, you get out.
Yeah.
How many total years at that point on this case? 6 years. So even though you cooperated, you still got 6 years.
Lad, I fucking had they told me you got to do time. You got 1,000 violent crimes. I can't just let you out. They wanted 10 years. I had so much violence. They wanted 10 years. The Judge Block, I had the best judge in the business. He gave me time served. They're like, you got lucky. You know, you had so much shit going on.
Okay, so you get out, and you said the mafia doesn't really follow through, on hits or go after people that owe money because of the RICO laws.
Yeah, and, not only that, it's just people ain't ordering it no more.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you worried that there was a hit on you?
No, I went back to Howard Beach.
Okay. But everyone knows.
I was telling people, and I put it out there. I says, yo, if he's gonna come, you shoot me in my legs, you just wasted your fucking time. You know how I am. I said, you know, I'll blow your fucking house up. Like, don't even waste your time with me. Come correct, bro. Make sure it's a headshot.
Did anyone ever approach you?
No.
Okay, because I remember when I interviewed John A-Light, he said some dudes approached him at one point.
Me and Johnny used to drive around Brooklyn. I seen fucking Blaze Carrazzo with him. They didn't say shit, man. I seen a bunch of these guys are all punks, man. A lot of them are half-assed. Ronnie G, he's saying something to me. He's coming after me. He'll punch me 100%. I know people that will say something, and I know ones that won't. And a lot of guys in Howard Beach were not saying nothing to me. Vlad, I was running down on people in broad daylight, shooting people. You think they're just gonna be like, oh, Gene, hey, how you doing? You're a fucking, like, come on. I was hitting people in the head with crowbars, and like, I was a different kind of guy. You know, you're not gonna just walk up to me and abuse me. It's not happening. You better be that guy.
Okay, so you and John A-Light end up starting a podcast together.
Johnny and Gene Show.
Yes.
Created a fucking nightmare for me. It created a fucking nightmare.
Right. When the feds found out about this podcast.
Did they? It was in the paper every day.
Yeah. You got violated 6 times?
Yes. They wouldn't stop. John Rubio goes on the show and says he made more money with the fucking government than the mafia. The judge and them were the Supreme Courts were having a fucking heart attack. Yes.
Right. You were facing 5 years.
Oh, man.
Just because of the podcast.
Oh, there's a lot of shit going on. They were hitting me with everything. They were fucking furious, man. They were trying to put my ass back in jail, yeah.
Well, you went back to jail for what, 20 months?
3 times.
3 times.
I did house arrest, jail. They wouldn't stop.
This is because of the podcast.
Yes. It all started because I wouldn't. Then I came out with my book, and they were trying to violate me for the book, but my lawyer, I fell under the Michael Cohen's Act because they tried to put Michael Cohen's in the jail for writing a book for Donald Trump. And they says that the judge ruled that I can't go to jail for the book because of the act, you know?
Right. And it was around this time that you and I met because I was interviewing John A-Light. Yeah. And then at the end of the interview, he's like, hey, could we bring on my friend Gene Borrello?
That put me, honestly, I tell everybody, you put me on the map because after that, my Instagram went to like fucking 1,000 followers to like 10,000 followers. And it was just kind of going from there. They wanted to know because I'm the only modern day guy out. You got to understand that.
Right. You were younger than most of the guys.
I'm younger than all. I'm still doing old school shit though. So you don't hear about guys shooting nobody, doing nothing for the mafia no more. I was all dead. I was still a cowboy running around. Yeah. So it's like I had this intriguing story and I'm young. I'm related to a big guy. I work for big people. So it was like the perfect storm, you know?
I mean, when it comes to proffer agreements, I mean, the other name for it is Queen for a Day.
Yeah. Well, that's state.
That's state.
That's state. The state does Queen for a Day. The feds do proffer agreement. It's a totally different thing.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, for certain kinds of proffer agreements, I thought it was for all proffer agreements, it applies for that day. But if you choose to retell the story...
That's state stuff.
That's state.
Federal, when you sign that contract, it's a whole new ballgame. That's a whole new ballgame, feds.
Right, because for example, there's the Keefe D situation. And, you know, I'm tied into this because I did the interview with him.
Yeah, I know. They all blame you, but they come on the show and talk. Does that make any sense?
Well, I mean, he already wrote a book.
I know.
So my thing is, like, if you write a book about it and you're willing to talk about what's in the book, I'm going to interview you.
They're coming on your show talking. How is it your fault?
Yeah.
They're choosing to put their ass in the fucking seat and talk in front of a camera. How retarded could you be? And then say, oh, it's Vlad. He works for the feds.
Well, yeah.
Really?
I mean, at one point, him and... you know, the co-writer of the book, they go outside to talk, and my cameraman's like, this mic is still on, and I'm like, turn that shit off. I'm not trying to catch people on hot mics, and I'm not doing that shit.
Right.
And then when he gets arrested, Las Vegas PD keeps calling me, we want all the raw footage, and I'm like, I'm ignoring that shit. I'm not cooperating.
Listen, these rappers, they do it to themselves. You know, they talk about their shootings and songs, and they want to blame everybody. You're talking about caught a body about a week. All these guys do all this shit in the songs. They're listening to the fucking shit. They're being charged because of your mouth.
Right.
Not because Vlad sat you in a fucking chair.
Well, right. You know you're being taped right now.
Right.
Exactly. You're wearing a wire yourself.
You know you get millions of views. You're talking in front of people. You know everybody's watching, and then you want to be cool and say you're part of this Tupac murder. And what do you think? Like they're dying to get somebody for the fucking murder. You know what I'm saying? So he shot himself in the foot.
Well, you go in and out of jail because of this podcast. Then in 2021. You get arrested because of a situation with your girlfriend.
My ex.
Your ex.
From before I left. She sold my fucking jewelry, yeah.
She sold your jewelry?
Yeah, my Rolex.
And I guess you threatened her?
I threatened the husband. I said, don't forget what I do. I'll blow your fucking husband's head off.
You threatened your girlfriend's husband?
Yeah. Yeah. I said, I was in a white Porsche Panamera, which they're furious about. I was driving a white Porsche in Howard Beach. I'm in a brand new white Porsche Panamera. I pull up in front of the house because I'm furious. And I said, don't forget about what I used to do. I'll come now, I'll blow your husband's head off. And, yeah. he went right to the FBI.
What happened with that?
They locked me up.
For how long?
They put me in. They gave me 4 months jail, 6 months house arrest, restarted my probation, and gave me stipulations. There was like 60 of them. No podcast, no this, no that. Can't talk about organized crime. Can't do this. I'm like this. Look, just like this to them. Fuck yous. Keep violating me. I'm not doing bad no more. I'm doing podcasts. I'm going to keep doing them. Because you tried to get me back on. I was going to go back on. I was talking to your people, and I couldn't because my mother's going, they're going to put you back in jail.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm going on the fucking show. Fuck these people. And I couldn't go. My family was fighting with me.
Yeah, I remember you had like 2 cancellations.
Couldn't. I was trying.
Yeah, I didn't know the backstory.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, John Gotti's daughter and grandson sue you for $10 million. Yeah. What for?
So Douglas Anton was on that. That's my buddy. He's a good federal attorney. He was helping me with that case. So what happens is this. I'm going to tell you what they did to me. They did good. When I went on the violation, Angel Gotti called up the jail and said that I got raped and had the people come see me. And I'm in the hole, by the way. I'm furious. So they come see me. I'm by myself. How the fuck did I get raped if I'm by myself? The sergeants are like, listen, man, you know, they're laughing. Like, you know, someone called up. Then the sexual assault counselor had to come see me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? So they got me good. It was a good prank. So when I came home, I said, all right, I got a special treat for them. So I went off on Angel Gotti. I went off on our son, who I grew up with, who's an absolute punk, Frankie Albano. And I abused John Jr. and all of them. And they didn't like the things I was saying. So they put a lawsuit in. So you can do what you want to me, but when I say something back to you, you want to sue me now.
So is that still going on?
No, it got dropped. It's a fucking stupid lawsuit. I'm stating facts. Hey, you could sue me for stating facts.
Well, weren't you locked up with Fetty Wap?
My buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was with him every day.
How's he holding up in there?
He was a cool-ass motherfucker. When I met him, I walked in for lad. I looked around and go, is that fucking Fetty Wap? What the fuck's he doing here? I was like, what's he doing here? He said he got a drug case, you know? I became really cool with him. You know, I used to work out with him. Really friendly guy. He got fucked over. They gave him 6 years.
Yeah, man. That's one of those stories where it's like when Fetty Wap was coming out, he was the hottest thing smoking.
Bro, you ever speak with him personally? He had 6 #1 hits in 1 year. He broke records.
No, he said, I remember when I interviewed Leo Cohen, he said that Fetty Wap essentially saved the label at one point when he was
Taylor
on 300.
Swift took him on tour, bro. He was telling me with Taylor Swift on tour, bro.
Exactly.
Like, I was talking to this guy, I was like, bro, you hang out with Taylor Swift. He's like, yo, she's awesome. She pays for everything. I was like, all right.
No, look, when he was out, it was hit single after hit single, platinum after multi-platinum, platinum album. I remember there was videos of him literally at a hotel balcony just throwing money out the window. I remember he bought his homie like a I-8 Benz. No, I-8 BMW.
Well, he has a crazy car collection, so he has a warehouse, and it's like he collects M3s. Anyone knows Fetty Wap, he collects M3s.
Right.
So he has everything. Audi R8, you name it, he got it. It was crazy. His jewelry, bro, he had a picture of his jewelry. It's like $10 million in jewelry, bro. It covered.
But eventually, the money started to run out.
I don't know if it did, though.
But he got caught up in a drug case.
Yeah, and it's more like a drug case. It's more like you gave a friend money. It's a conspiracy because he's a gang. They said he was a blood. It's more like he gave somebody money for to help them out. They went and bought drugs and they tied him in the conspiracy.
Oh, that's what happened.
That's what's happened.
So he wasn't actually trying to buy the drugs himself.
It's like how they treat mafia. You make a phone call, you get tied into a conspiracy. You might not even have anything to do with it. You just get tied up in the conspiracy. Fetty Wap got fucked over. He's a good person. Takes care of all of his kids. He's got fucking 11 kids, 9 baby mothers. He takes care of all of them. He's a good guy. I got along with him very well.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed Biggs from Rockefeller, and he had this big marijuana case he went to prison for, and it was similar to that. It was like he knew a guy that wanted some weed and a guy that was growing. He was like, "Yeah, I'll just put you guys on the phone. I'll put you guys on the phone together. I don't want nothing to do with it." One of the guys is wearing a wire. Next thing you know, he's going to prison over a drug case when he's a multimillionaire that he didn't want anything to do with this. He was just helping out.
But you know what the funny thing is? When I met him, he's super friendly. He's not like he's super friendly, like, you know what I'm saying? Real cool guy.
Okay, so...
Sam Bankman, I know it's coming.
Sam Bankman?
Sam Bankman-Fried, I know it's coming.
So you were locked up? Okay, so...
Yeah, I went to the hole for him. What do you mean?
Okay. So you were actually locked up with the FTX guy?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
I got into a fight over this fucking idiot.
What happened?
He came into the jail. He's weird as could be. He stole like $10 billion and, you know, all the wolves were after him. You know, these little wolves. The kid that killed DJ Khaled's nephew is the one that I got into. Remember when DJ Khaled's nephew got pistol whipped and he got shot in the head in the Bronx? The kid that did that shooting I was with, his name was Juice, a little fucking punk. And he was trying to get money out of Sam Bankman. And I told him, you're good in here, bro. No one's going to bother you. These kids are fake tough guys. Like, don't worry about that. So the little blood kid, Rever, called me over and goes, yo, stop telling him. I said, bro, who the fuck you talking to? And he swung at me. And that's all she wrote. I got the ticket. I could show it to you. I beat him up. I dragged him all over, and I went to the hole.
Okay. And what happened to Sam after that?
He stood there. They gave him 27 years.
Yeah, he's going to be there for a while.
He got lucky for getting 27 years. The only reason why he got 27 years, they gave him the worst judge, they gave him the worst prosecutors, is because his victims called in and says, don't give him life. He don't deserve life for stealing fucking money. You don't. I got friends that got execution murders, 20 years, 25 years in the feds. You're going to give this guy 100 years for stealing money?
Yeah, it wasn't just stealing
Come
money.
on, bro.
It was stealing billions.
So what, though?
Let me tell you, I interviewed French Montana. I said, what was your your worst investment? He said, I woke up to see $5 million missing in my FTX account.
Yeah, but
and that's
it's
just
money.
one person.
You're still alive, though, man.
Billions of dollars.
You can't give
the biggest Ponzi scheme in U.S.
I have
history.
this debate with everybody. I feel a person should not get life or 100 years for stealing money. If you're taking lives, that's one thing. How the fuck are you going to give this guy life in prison for taking money? 10 years is the worst case, in my opinion. That's just how I feel.
I mean, do you know how many people's lives he's absolutely ruined? This is like people's life savings,
no,
their retirement.
I get it. I know.
You see what I'm saying?
But
People have to go and work jobs at 60, 70 years old.
But you know, he comes from hundreds of millions, so it don't make sense. His family's already rich, so like...
Yeah, but look what he did.
He wore an Apple Watch and drove a Toyota Camry, bro.
Listen.
It fucks your head up. I'm like, what'd you steal the money for?
He got 27 years.
Yeah,
I wish he got life.
I'm like, how the fuck? I'm like, this guy got an Apple Watch he's wearing. He's wearing holes in his shorts. He doesn't wear clothes. Like, he's weird. It's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, but he's worth billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars, and he's like, doesn't spend it. Like, he just does private jets, he said, to like other countries. That was his thing.
Right. Well, at one point, you and John Alite spoke negatively about Michael Franzese. But you ended up doing Franzese's show.
I was just being like I was pulling the old gangster trick. I was just trying to go for the top dog. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm just be real with you. It was like a little trick I had.
Yeah, I mean, Franzese was one of my biggest interviews.
Yeah, Mike Francese's a good guy. I get
Very
along.
good guy.
It was just a little trick I was pulling when I got out.
Yeah, and you know, when he had you on the show, he basically addressed what you said and said, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah. I was young and just being dumb, you know, just messing around.
That's the way people should deal with stuff like that. You know, I mean, there's lots of people that I beef with on the internet, like NLE Chopper or whoever else, and it's like, then we get on the phone, like, let's just do an interview and, you know, let's actually monetize this.
Right.
As opposed to have it turn into something worse.
Right.
I had Gianni Russo on my show. And
he's a bullshitter.
He told some pretty tall tales.
He's the worst. Well, you had Ramondi on your show. I mean, I wanted to call you about Ramondi. What are you doing?
That's the one who said he killed 300 people?
Killed a priest. He killed the fucking president. I'm like, bro, get this guy out of here, bro. I'm like, Vlad, what are you? Everyone's in the neighborhood's like, Vlad, what the fuck is this guy on the show for? He's got a cigar. He's got his costume on. He's got the velour suit, the mustache. I'm like, who is this guy? What crew is he in? Where did he come from?
You don't always get it right. You know, you do your best.
No, but Vlad, I said, what crew is he in? I'm calling Mike Francis. He said, who is this guy? He goes, bro, we don't know who the fuck this guy is. He just popped up out of nowhere saying he killed the fucking priest. And I'm like, what? And I try to explain to people, you need a contract to talk about murders. You can't just come on Vlad TV and say, hey, you know, I killed this guy. I killed that guy, you know. He never debriefed. He never sat with the government. You know, you can't talk about murders. Him and Gianni Russo, you know, Gianni Russo's a great actor, but these guys are full of shit. I mean, absolutely full of shit.
Well, Gianni was in the first Godfather movie.
I don't care what Godfather was in. He was just all those stories are fake.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean the Marilyn Monroe story. I don't know.
Listen to me. Paul Castellano. I know he scraped his cheese off his pizza. Great. I mean, who gives a fuck? All right, come on. Paul Castellano called me to his house. Like, all right, bro. Yeah, you fluffed his pillow. Great. All right.
I mean, Gianni said about the whole bomb they put in front of the Paramount gates, and I remember when they had that one series about like the making of the Godfather.
What's up with that spray tan he got? That's what I really want to know. Where does he get that tan from?
I don't know. I don't know.
It looks like Snooki.
I don't know. Hey man, listen. Sometimes you get it right.
Yeah.
Other times you don't get it right.
Listen, I like guys how we come on. Me, Anthony Arlotta, Anthony. You get all the guys that come on. We tell you what it is. We tell us the truth. We don't try to make ourselves bigger than what we are. We just tell you what you are. These guys come on your show sometimes and they just go ham. Ham. John Panisi, the most boringest man alive. I don't know, another one. Whatever. We'll leave him alone.
I did Joey Merlino's first interview. He's the rumored boss of the Philly Mafia.
Yeah. Rumored jerk off. Wait, so let me tell you something about this guy. You know what's funny about Joey Molino? I'm going to give you a perfect example of Joey Molino. He comes on, he goes, rat, rat, and he goes like this with his left. What's wrong with this dude's face, first off? He talks so much shit about everybody. Rat this, rat that, rat this. You're on the fucking internet, okay? You're talking on internet. I'm part of organized crime. Ready? I'm going to go off on this fucking guy right now. You are a boss of Philly, right? You're breaking every code of La Cosa Nostra. The five families want you dead secretly in their brain. You made a mockery of them. You're on the internet talking. That's first off. You broke every code, okay? You got shot. Your friend got killed. You got your place blown up. You're a fucking herb. You're a victim. I feel bad for you. You're a fucking victim. You come on here, you talk bad about everybody. Sammy, this guy, that guy. You're a clown. Your fucking partner, who, that fat junkie, what's his name? Fucking Snuff with needles in his arm with fake Rolexes, okay? You're coming here talking shit, putting everybody on blast. You're two jerk-offs, okay? I said it to this day. If I bump into you and say something to me, it is what it is. I'm not a guy that runs. You talk all this shit about everybody. He abuses you. Oh, Vlad, no good. This guy. Who are you? You're not the boss of Philly. You're Joey the dropout. When you go to fucking jail, you walk a dropout yard. You're not a fucking gangster no more. That's what it is. You're a clown, okay? You're a fucking clown. That's how I feel about it. And I hope you air exactly what I'm saying because he needs to hear this. The only thing I respect that he did is he outed John Jr., another fucking clown. And he put his 302s out there because John Jr.'s a fucking rat too, but he wants to sit here like he's not. Other than that, Joey Molino, you're a jerk off. You're a clown. You're on YouTube. You're doing the same shit we're all fucking doing. You should be sitting with us. You're no better. Okay?
What's your beef with him specifically?
Oh, he came at all of us.
Came at you?
Everybody. He's coming at all the rats. Except this rat will punch your teeth in. Bet that. Bet that. I bet dollars of donuts I'll fight him with one arm behind my back, and I'll beat the shit out of him.
Well, I can tell you, I've interviewed a lot of mob guys, and Joey was by far the most defensive.
It's a jerk off.
It was almost like the joke in the comments was like,
Vlad.
Joey, tell me about your dad. Dad? Who's this dad guy? I don't know any dad.
The drunk that they demoted him and they were going to kill him?
I'm just saying, in general, he didn't know anybody.
Right.
He doesn't know about the mob.
Yeah, I know. He's not the mob. He don't know John Rubio. He's on 1,000 hours of wiretaps with him talking the most nonsense shit you ever hear. So, I love this guy who talks about people's girls and this stuff. I have no filter. I have nothing to protect. I'm known for this. Okay? I don't give a fuck. He is a jerk off. He's trying to come at us to get views. I understand that. But you're not going to abuse me, my friends. I'm going to make a mockery out of you. You're a fucking clown. You're a laughing stock of the fucking mafia. You're getting abused. Your place getting blown up. You're getting shot. Your friend's getting killed. Who are you? You're a fucking victim.
Well, his cheesesteak shop got blown up in Philly.
He's a fucking herb. You don't hear about this shit happening to my friends when we were in the street? Blown up, robbed. Who are you?
Well, I can't
You're
say,
a gangster
though.
or a victim?
Well, in his defense, though, he is one of the few mob guys that really has not cooperated.
Do we know that?
I've never heard of anything.
Do we know that? John Jr. didn't come out for years. Everybody, no, John Jr., he was around on the low. You don't even know.
Seems like he didn't cooperate.
You don't even know anymore. What he's doing right now on the internet's pretty much cooperating. I know Mikey knows them in New York are having a fucking heart attack over it. I know that for a fact. Everyone's having a heart attack. You look like a jerk off. You're coming on the internet and you're selling clothes. Skinny Joe, your mafia nickname? That's your show? Your mafia nickname? Really? Think about that. Skinny Joe Molino, that's his mafia mob boss nickname. That's his show. Selling shirts to your face. Come on, bro.
I mean, he's better to do legal business, though, isn't it?
And he got that little jerk off, the used car salesman with him. Come on, man. Got these guys talking about you. Ain't no street guy. What the fuck you talking about us for? Why are you talking about us for? You're a used car salesman. You selling cars. You never busted a grape in a fruit fight. You talking about me? I got more violence in 1 month than you did in your whole life. You're going to talk about me? Who are you? You see me, you run for your life. I'm being real with you right now. I'm getting mad because I'm sick of these fake tough guys coming on here calling me out. I'll take both of yous. And I'll do it in a ring in front of everybody.
He is a little bit older than you.
So bring his cousin or something. Bring a friend. I don't care. You're not going to sit here and try to abuse everybody. You talk about Sammy. Sammy's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. You're going to talk about his shoes? Like, the guy's an old man. Like, all right, I'm not old. You keep bringing this up, so now I'm going to slaughter you. And that's what I did.
Well, you've had some dealings with Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, I like Sammy.
How did that go?
Good. We went the other night.
Yeah, I've interviewed him twice.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, cool guy.
Listen, he's cool. Listen, at the end of the day, he did what he did, but he's a part of mafia history. You can't take that from him. This guy was a part of the biggest hit ever. You know what I mean? Orchestrated. You can't take things from this guy. Whatever he did, John Gotti Sr. is a gangster. I'll never take that from him, but he got a big fucking mouth. You're talking about fucking murders all over wiretap. You got everybody indicted. you were going to jail without Sammy. I'm not sticking up for him, I'm just being honest with you. John was going to jail regardless. He talked about 20 murders on wiretap. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying he did what he did, but bro, this guy was a part of a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's whole different levels of this shit. You know, Sammy's like, you know, A-list when it comes to this shit. You know? Him and Mike Francis, you know, those are the top dogs. They're, you know.
Yeah. I mean, our first interview almost didn't happen because he came, it was me, him, and his granddaughter.
Right.
And then before the interview, he was like, all right, so what are you going to talk about? And I kind of went down some of the...
Right.
He's like, no, we can't talk about any of that. Can't talk about any of that. Can't. And I'm like, well, then we're not going to do the interview. No, I'm not going to pay you.
Right.
Like, fine, you're not going to, fine, fuck this interview. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this interview. And then his granddaughter was like, Grandpa, all the stuff he's asking about, you've already talked about on your podcast.
Right.
You talked about this, you talked about this,
Right.
you've talked about this, you've talked about this. He's like, okay, fine, but I don't want to talk about, you know, killing my brother-in-law, and I can't talk about the Arizona thing because I got to deal with Discovery Channel. I'm like, fine, no problem. So we had a great interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was like, it was
He's
an
cool,
interesting
you know.
moment where it was like,
He's cool. He
you
just,
got two guys who didn't want to back down.
But remember, you're dealing with a guy that's late in age, too.
Exactly.
You know, if you dealt with him probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago, it wouldn't be like that if you talk with him. You know, they get grumpy as they get older. He's a grumpy old man
it was
now.
just, it was a business dispute. It
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to pay you this if I can't ask the questions I want to ask.
Yeah.
It was really just that simple.
Yeah,
If you want to
100%.
walk out, then walk out.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? I'll
Yeah.
pay you after the interview. I'm not going to pay you before. And if you don't want to
Right.
talk about anything, this is a waste of everyone's time.
Right.
But his granddaughter was like the voice of reason and came in and kind of
Right.
convinced him. And then we had really an epic interview. You know, and then I remember like, I think it was the second interview, Trump actually posted it on his social media.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
I
And
remember
Sammy's
that.
like
I said
commenting.
something about that. I
You
couldn't
said
believe
something
that.
about that. Yeah, it was actually my interview.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I'm
crazy.
like, oh wow, former president's posting my footage. I'm
That's
not
crazy.
mad at this.
Well, he'll be the new one soon. So.
Yeah. Well, man, appreciate you coming in, Gene.
Yes.
Like I said, we had our first interview, your first interview ever, but at the time, I literally had no information about you.
Right.
You know, we're doing John A.
It
Light.
came blindsided. Johnny just
Yeah,
grabbed
he
me on. I know.
blindsided me. I mean, not in a bad way,
You
but
know-
he was like, hey, I got this guy. He's a little younger. And I'm like, okay, let me kind of get the backstory. You told me a few things, but I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like every interview
It's
I
hard.
do,
You got to do your homework.
I do
know.
research. As you know,
Yeah.
if you notice, like your whole story has been laid out.
Right.
You know, your other interviews have been watched.
Right.
I was really very blind coming into this, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a real interview. But I'm glad that you came into your own. You started your own business because, you know, a lot of times when you got guys coming out of prison with felonies, they're in a very precarious situation.
Right.
You can't really get a real job because you can get turned down for a felony.
Right.
You can't get an apartment because they could legally turn you down for a felony.
Right.
A lot of times these guys end up shacking up with women and it's under their rules.
And the woman gets them locked up.
Yeah, the women, you know, I mean, will kick them out of the house at any moment. They go back and have to start doing crimes again, and then it becomes a revolving door.
Right.
So, you know, like people like you, you know, Terrence Gangster Williams, who's Birdman's brother, the fact that I did their first interviews and they turned around and started their own YouTube channels and are now supporting themselves off these channels legally, I think is like the best situation ever.
Right. You know, like I said, I got a lot of things going on for that. My book, bestseller, sold over 15,000 copies.
Congrats.
It's in production right now. They're trying to make a TV show out of it. You know, and that's like insane. You know what I mean? That's like bugs me out that that's even like going on and how real it is. So, like I said, that's going down very shortly. You can check it out. September was probably filming the pilot, bro. And you know, that's like amazing for me. You know, I'm part of a Moody Pony. I'm gonna be in a real movie. I'm gonna be in a real fucking movie. So, you know, a lot of things turned around for me.
Are you still on probation?
No, I'm off. I did that last 8
you're
months. They
completely-
terminated me.
so you're
Judge Block
completely off
terminated me. Yeah,
probation.
thank you, Judge Block, man. He's like, nah, leave this kid alone already, man.
I mean, at this point in your life,
Yeah.
you lived up to a certain point where you don't tolerate disrespect. You know, you function a certain type of way. Like, for
Right.
example, like I interviewed this guy, Blue Boy. You know what that is?
Yeah.
So Blue Boy is like a legend in the New York system.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, tomorrow-
He's
yeah.
a Crip. Blue Boy killed Larry Davis.
Yeah, I thought he paralyzed them.
No, he killed Larry Davis
killed him.
and
All right,
killed
yeah.
two other people
Yeah, all right, yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him, I said, how do you deal with being outside when you're used to a system where if someone steps on your shoe, it has to be violent right away or else, you know, it might compromise your position. He goes, well, you know, people like bump into me or they cut in front of me in line and I have to catch myself sometimes. But for example, he ended up getting a job, because of my interview and the popularity. He got a job working as security at a dispensary for Glenn Davis, the basketball player who's actually going to jail for fraud right now. And he got into it with a guy.
I can't believe Glenn Davis is going to jail. I know, I seen that.
I know, crazy, right?
What the fuck is going on?
Free big baby. And he ended up shooting the guy, and now he's back in prison again.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a few times I almost fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, it never happened. But, I was used to people not saying anything to me. Or, I was always on go time. But I'll still punch you in the face. I'll take an assault. I don't care about that. I won't shoot you or stab you no more.
Okay.
But I'll assault you in 3.2 seconds flat. And then we can take it from there. I'm already known through the city of Tampa. I'm not freestyling. You're not going to abuse me.
Okay.
That's just the way I am. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. It's just the way I am. I'm cool, but just you're not going to abuse me.
So in a fist fight, would you get sent back to prison considering all the...
No. It's a misdemeanor. It depends if you break something or something.
Unless it's aggravated.
Yeah, you slap someone in the face, you get into a little altercation. The cops might lock you up. It's a little roll around the floor. I got caught rolling on the floor. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens. It's it's not like you're beating them with a bat or stabbing them. I'm done. I ever get anything with a gun or a bat or a weapon, they'll give me 100 years. Yeah.
So how do you stay from escalating things?
I don't. It's hard. I'm a hothead. That's just what I'm known for. I try. You know what I mean? I'm starting to lose my balls because I did what I did. It's hard. I try. That's all I can tell you is I try my best.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't promise anything, but I try.
So you've gotten into fist fights, but they've stopped at the fist fight
Yeah, it's
level.
just a fist fight. I'll never go past that. I know, I would never go that route unless someone's trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? I have to defend myself. But other than that, a fight's a fight. Anyone could do that. You could be a cop and get into a fist fight. It's regular shit. You know what I mean? As long as you're not doing something really horrific to them. You know what I mean?
Well, Gene, man, appreciate you coming in. Happy for your success and wish you all the best with all the projects that are coming up, man.
Thank you for that.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Peace.